Red Green and the middlemen, it looked like Biaggi, number 29, has the whole shot. Romboni, number 15, he's a quick starter as well, tucked in behind him. But Keeley on the inside, Biaggi on the outside. Keeley goes through Redgate first. Then it is Loris Reggiani, and then it is Doriano Romboni. The Italians, as usual, lead. Biaggi leads down Grainer curves. From Loris Reggiani, from Doriano Romboni, from Pier Francesco Keeley, Cadalora, and that looks like Capirossi next along.
But a great start here.
Yeah, Biaggi got a wonderful start. Number 9, that is one of the Geleras. That is Ruggiero on the deck. That is Stefan Prine on the deck. Surely there can't be. There's been a coming together early on.
Well, a coming together. Certainly we look there at Jochen Schmidt, bike number 8. Well, an early coming together. It's better than a late one, I suppose. Oh, that looked to me like there was a bit of dust being kicked up from a knee in the dirt there. Onto the back straight. So, down under the Dunlop Bridge for the first time into the S's. And it's still Max in front.
Max Biaggi, the discovery of the year, Keith, for me, in any class. He's come straight from European Championship racing, which he dominated, to be a real force in Grand Prix racing. So Max Biaggi leads from Loris Reggiani.
Yeah, Max did say that he liked this track. He likes Donington Park. In fact, he went as far as to say it's his favourite track. There's Keeley a long way down there. Keeley quite a long way down in the standings. So, we're looking at Reggiani. 13 is Reggiani.
Another 4, that's Luis Dantan, the European Supersport 600 champion. He's hopped off his Honda.
Yeah, Dantan was down in 15th place, and now he's down in the dirt.
Reggiani still second, Romboni still third, but Pier Francesco Keeley, number 7, in 4th place. Is looking like he might be interested in putting a Honda behind him here. And Pier Francesco, Keith, has looked so good, so stylish, on the inside, straight through, no problems. Keeley takes 3rd from Romboni and sets off after his good friend and almost teammate, Loris Reggiani, number 13. And, of course, the leader, number 29, his young teammate, Max Biaggi. I think Pier Francesco's forgiven him for putting him in the dirt at Mugello now.
We're having a look now to see what's going on in this particular... Oh, and who was that?
That was Luis Dantan, I think, Keith. It was indeed.
Absolutely right, in the same place, I think, as where Schwantz went, and wearing the same number as Kevin Schwantz. So it's obviously number 34's corner, that one.
Oh, dear. But Biaggi still leads. Reggiani second, Keeley third, and Romboni is really, really riding the wheels off that Honda to stay in touch. And I hope he stays on it. There he is, number 15, going through, seen by our curb cam. And I do believe, Keith, he's through to 30 years, because Loris Reggiani must have had a major whoopsie somewhere that we didn't see. He's back in 4th, looking a bit ragged, and Romboni has a fair lead on him. Loris Reggiani, Keith, well, goodbye world title, if this sticks at it. Lucas the world champion, as they stand now, with Reggiani 3rd there, and Cadalora 4th there. Luca is the world champion.
Well, that's actually 4th and 5th.
Sorry.
Gotcha, at last. And Capirossi following up behind Cadalora. So, Massimiliano Biaggi still leads this from Keeley, from Romboni, from Reggie. No, it's not that way round anymore. But the interesting thing, of course, is that Hayden is hanging on to 20th place now. He's been dropped by Casoli and Hengeli from that 18th place, but Hayden is still in 20th place, which is a good ride still. Well,
Bernard Hengeli, who's just gone past him, Keith, scored points in the French Grand Prix, top 10 finisher in 9th. So there is absolutely no disgrace for young James Hayden there. As we look at the front of the field, Max Biaggi, Pier Francesco Keeley. There are times when I find it difficult to believe that these two guys are teammates.
Yeah, I'm sure that's going to be borne out again in this particular race. A long way to go yet. Round top is 4th gear. Biaggi has the advantage at the moment, but I've got to say Keeley is one of the most stylish riders I've ever seen, and that was outstanding. He just turned the power on and drove straight underneath Biaggi as if he'd forgotten to turn the throttle on. Well, what can I say? Not a movement from the bike. Keeley knew he'd got the grip, and he just turned it straight on under Biaggi.
Hello, that is a James Hayden's bike, I believe, on the deck, Keith. That looks like the wildcard Honda.
69 is James Hayden, I have to say.
Oh, that's Ian Newton then.
That's Ian Newton that was down on the
Sorry,
floor.
Keeley trying to do a Hungary job.
Hungry for another win and almost lands on his ear. So then, it's all happening, isn't it? Ian Newton down on the ground. So Ian Newton out of this race. Keeley almost out of this race. Massimiliano Biaggi almost out of this race. It's all happening here for the British 250 Grand Prix.
I apologise to James Hayden's camp mother followers for that one. I just saw one of the wild card numbers. Oh, dear
Keely's
me.
wide on the brakes there in the Goddard. He's all over the place. Keely is so keen to get a break on the second place man. Let's have another look at this one coming out of the S's. Well, he got the power on, and didn't he get the power on? Well, dear me. Well, there you have it. Standings at the moment: Keely, Biaggi, Reggiani, Romboni, Cadalora and Schmidt confirmed in 6th place, 4.9 seconds behind race leader Keely.
Well, certainly Luca Cadalora won't want Jochen Schmidt going past him, will he? He's going to get the hurry up, I think, because the Yamaha is closing in, and young Doriano Romboni, I suggest, Keith, is about to get a bit of a lesson in what to do with an NSR Honda, because any corner now, Luca Cadalora is going to just materialise alongside him. Just push gently through to the position that will guarantee him another world title.
Biaggi then coming under pressure from Reggiani. Reggiani sneaks through at the end of the back straight. Great stuff there from Reggiani, and quite characteristic of him. But look at Biaggi. Look for the inside line as Reggiani ran a little bit wide, but still at the front. Very calm and still very fast is Pier Francesco Keely from Loris Reggiani. The only man that can take it away from Cadalora championship-wise this year if he can just get the race win with Cadalora outside the front four. So we're looking now, that's James Hayden going off. Well, we'll cut that short. That's James Hayden being carried off. Our wild card entry, James Hayden, Ron Haslam's protege. Well, that's Ian Newton out of this race. Now James Hayden as well, hopefully not too badly injured. The marshals here do not carry people like that unless they're not too badly injured, I think is what I'm trying to say, because they're much more cautious when it comes to a badly injured rider. That I do know about Donington Park. So then, back with the race. There it is, Romboni, that's the battle now, still for 4th place.
Yeah, Keith, as I was saying before we had a quick look at Ron there, as they are at the moment, I believe that Luca Cadalora will win the World Championship by 1 point from Loris Reggiani. And Luca does not have to fight his way past that young lion, I should say, Doriano Romboni. But if Jochen Schmidt suddenly gets stuck in, Luca might have to up the pace more than he wants to. But Luca, you always believe somehow that he's superhuman, that he's always got loads in hand. And there he goes, taking Romboni, smooth as you like. Did he get the hurry up, Keith, or did he just decide it was time to go?
Well, that's a very good question, and I don't think I can answer it well enough, but certainly Cadalora he made the manoeuvre very easily. It wasn't difficult for him to do, so he's just decided to get in front of this bunch, and I don't know whether that's the best place to be with Romboni, because certainly Romboni is a man that's going to come back at him if Cadalora doesn't make some kind of a break on Romboni, and that really we're only going to see over the next lap.
Hello,
Oh,
that's Biaggi. Biaggi's on the ground, Keith. Now, where is that? Can you tell?
Not from there, I can't. I don't recognise the bales round here personally, but Biaggi out. I know he spent a lot of time talking to Samantha Davies in IRTA last night, and she must have tired him out, because Biaggi has stepped off, and he really, really is going to be so disappointed. Here it comes. Let's have a look at that. It's in the S's. So it's in the S's at the end of the back straight. Oh, dear me. Well, oh, that bike's going to be well damaged when that hits the wall, that's for sure. Oh, the mechanics, I can feel them cringing at that one. Well, we got it for you, boys.
I can feel the marshals cringing as they saw it coming towards them as well there. I'm afraid Max Biaggi, he's walking in unhurt, but he will be very, very unhappy. That means, Keith, that Luca Cadalora is in 3rd place at the moment. And my instant mental arithmetic tells me that he's got the title for sure now, of course.
Well, I don't think he has, because he's got Romboni right behind him, and I think that's a bit of something we haven't actually considered in this particular race, because if Romboni manages to take out Cadalora, then we all go to Brazil with systems normal.
That would give heart to Loris Reggiani, wouldn't it? But let's not forget that Luca can drop back to 4th place here anyway, Keith, and still get the title. That's if Loris wins it. And Loris is, what, 3.5 seconds behind Pier Francesco Keely? So it's highly unlikely. Back to the sums.
Well, we keep going back to the sums, but Cadalora doesn't look like a man that wants to drop back behind Romboni, although I've got to say, I'd have thought that he would have done. We're coming up to lap Michele Gallina now. So, Gallina hopefully will see this lot coming towards him.
The only other Yamaha in the race, apart from Jochen Schmidt, I think, at the moment, Keith.
4 laps to go. So 4 laps to go. Gallina's going to be swallowed by Cadalora and Romboni and Schmidt. And if he didn't know they were there, he does now.
I thought Luca would put a really nice move on there. Just managed to get Gallina in a sandwich between himself and Romboni, but no, he is not. not got rid of the young man, has he? He's looking at the inside there. He's got him.
Ron Boney, absolutely, well, superb stuff. Coming down the craners, got it judged absolutely perfectly, slipped underneath Cadalora at the old hairpin. Now then, if I was Cadalora, I'd sit where I was, I think. I wouldn't want to risk Ron Boney running underneath me like that. But he's there, I'm here.
Yeah, Cadalora now in 4th place, and even if Loris Reggiani goes to the front, beats Pier Francesco Chili, that position now would give Luca Cadalora the second 250 world title of his career. He would have in fact retained a world title.
Last lap then.
I've lost the lap scoring, so we'll have to rely on our monitors to see what Chili and Reggiani are doing between them, Keith. The gap was not a lot. As you said, this is the dice for 3rd place. If Luca, there we are, Chili, Reggiani, Ron Boney, Cadalora. 4th place for Luca Cadalora. That's what matters, Keith. That is another world title for Luca Cadalora if nothing too dramatic happens on the last lap, because I'm sure as I can be that Doriano is not going to let it go, is he?
Well, I'm sure we're going to have some dramatics because Cadalora is looking at the outside now. Ron Boney. Cadalora doesn't just want to tie up his championship position. He wants that position as well. So it looks like Cadalora is going for the inside of Ron Boney on the last lap. Is he going to take him? No, he's not from there. That's for sure. So Ron Boney holds that 3rd place. Cadalora is 4th. Remember, off the front is Pier Francesco Chili from Loris Reggiani. We don't know what's happening from them. They're on the last lap now, remember, though.
Yeah, here is the 3rd place dice. Here is the leader. We're back with Pier Francesco Chili, number 7. Another win for Pier Francesco. His 3rd of the season, and that's the Tel Corbalese racing team. They are happy men. There is Loris Reggiani. He's gone through in 2nd place. There's a bit of a gap back. Who's going to be 3rd? Who's going to be 3rd? Ron Boney from Cadalora, from Jochen Schmidt. A 1st rostrum for Doriano Ron Boney, but a 2nd 250 world title, a 3rd world title, because he's got a 125 one already, for Luca Cadalora. He is a man, Keith, who could go to 500s. It is possible for him to be a world champion in 500s. Why not?